All right, today we're peeling back the layers on one of the darkest and frankly most bizarre chapters of the whole Silk Road saga. We're talking about a story where millions of dollars, murder for hire, and, well, a ghost in the machine all come crashing together. Let's dive in.
It all kicks off with this really chilling message. And you got to understand, this isn't something from a movie script. Nope, this is a real command, typed out with cold, calculated intent. It's an order to end someone's life, all to protect a secret.
So the big question is, right? Who on earth has the kind of power to write something like that? Who is running an empire so huge, so illegal, that murder just becomes another business expense?
Well, the man behind the keyboard was none other than the infamous Dread Pirate Roberts. You know, the architect of the Silk Road online marketplace. His real name? Ross Ulbricht. And his digital kingdom was in some serious trouble.
And that brings us right into our first section, a kingpin's deadly order. See, this wasn't some crime of passion. It wasn't about anger or revenge. No, this was a cold, calculated business decision, all to protect a multi-million-dollar criminal empire.
And get this, it didn't stop with just one person. As Dread Pirate Roberts, Ulbricht tried to order hits on 6 different people. 6. He saw them all as liabilities, loose ends that could unravel his entire operation.
So you might be wondering, how in the world do we know all this? Well, it's because he left a digital trail a mile wide. So let's follow that trail of evidence and see exactly how this all went down, message by chilling message.
The plan, as it was laid out, was just unnervingly precise. Okay, so first, Ulbricht reaches out to this user named Red and White, who he's pretty sure is a contract killer. Then he gets what he thinks is proof that the first murder was a success. So feeling confident, he just escalates. He orders hits on 5 more people, and finally, the payments go through, all done nice and tidy with Bitcoin.
Okay, this is the part that is just wow. Take a look at these chat logs. What's so disturbing is how normal they sound. It's like he's ordering a pizza or something, not a murder. I'd like to put a bounty on his head. The response? I can get that done. It's just transactional. It's all business. And honestly, that's what makes it so terrifying.
So, what was the price tag for these 6 lives? Well, there it is, 7,225 Bitcoin. Now, back then, that was worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. A lot of money, for sure. But today, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. This wasn't just some idle threat, you guys. This was a massive financial commitment to murder.
But, and this is a huge but, this is where the story takes a sharp, almost unbelievable turn, right? We have the kingpin, we have the murder plot, we have the massive payment. But what if the guy on the other end of that transaction wasn't a hitman at all? This is where we meet the million-dollar ghost.
Think about it. Everything we've seen so far, all the evidence, led Ross Ulbricht to believe he was responsible for someone's death. But what if? What if the hitman, the evidence, the murders, what if it was all an illusion? Just an elaborate phantom cooked up for one reason and one reason only, to scam him out of his money.
And this right here just lays out the jaw-dropping difference between what Ulbricht thought was happening and what was actually happening. So in his reality, he'd paid a Hells Angels enforcer to commit 6 murders. The actual truth, he was paying a single Canadian scammer. He thought he saw proof of a successful hit. The truth, the photos were totally faked. He believed he was this ruthless kingpin, when in reality, he was just the mark in an incredibly elaborate con.
So let's be absolutely clear on the most important point here. No one was ever harmed. Not a single person died. The 6 people Ulbricht wanted gone are all alive and well. The entire murder for hire plot, from the first message to the last Bitcoin payment, was a ghost story. It was all a multi-million-dollar scam.
And that revelation, that twist, leaves us in a really strange place. We're now facing this huge moral paradox. I mean, how do you even begin to judge a man who was both the architect of a murder plot and the victim of a massive fraud? Is he a victim here, or is he a villain, or both?
Let's just try to unpack this a bit. Okay, on one hand, yeah, the guy got scammed. Big time. He was deceived and manipulated out of a fortune. But on the other hand, he was a willing conspirator in a murder-for-hire plot. His intent to have people killed was 100% real. It was all documented. And in the end, for the legal system, that intent was all that mattered, not the outcome.
And that right there is really the core of the whole thing.
The prosecution's case wasn't about whether people actually died. It was all about what was going on in Ulbricht's head. In his mind, in the world he thought he was in, he hired an assassin, he saw the proof, and he paid for the job. He truly believed he was a killer.
And so that leaves us with this final, really unsettling question. The bullets were never real. The victims were never actually harmed. But the order, that was real. The payment, that was real too. And it forces you to ask, how do you punish a crime that only happened inside the criminal's mind? What is the right sentence for this ghostly toll? A price paid for murders that never ever happened.